Arcade games on the Switch. The stuff that reminds you why you fell in love with gaming in the first place. Whether it's beating up waves of enemies, dodging bullets, or throwing Hadokens at your friends, this list has it all. Let's get into it. Marvel Maximum Collection. Limited Run Games teamed up with Konami to pack 13 classic Marvel games across arcade, 8-bit, 16-bit, and portable platforms into one collection. You've got the legendary X-Men the Arcade game with full 6-player online co-op and rollback netcode, still one of the most fun multiplayer beat-em-ups ever made. You can pick from Colossus, Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, or Dazzler, and just go wild against Magneto's army. Captain America and the Avengers is in here too, along with Maximum Carnage, Separation Anxiety, Spider-Man/X-Men Arcade's Revenge across multiple platforms, and Silver Surfer. Yeah, the brutally hard NES shooter with one of the best 8-bit soundtracks you'll ever hear. The package also comes loaded with digital archives, a music player, save states, rewind, and CRT filters. Not every game holds up perfectly, but the X-Men arcade game alone is worth the price of entry. Street Fighter II. This Switch version is the most complete version of SF2 ever released. It's built on Super Street Fighter II Turbo, but comes with two brand new characters, Evil Ryu and Violent Ken, along with a freshly rebalanced roster. You can flip between the original pixel art graphics or the redrawn HD sprites from the UDON team, and both styles look great. There's an arcade mode where you travel the globe beating legends, a new buddy battle co-op mode where two players team up against the CPU, and the Way of the Hado first-person mode that uses Joy-Con motion controls to throw Hadokens. Online play, ranked matches, a 250-page digital art book, and 8 difficulty settings round out the package. The classic one-on-one fighting feels as tight as ever. Input the right commands, and you're throwing Shoryukens and Sonic Booms all day. It's Street Fighter II. You already know if you need this. Terminator 2 D No Fate is a side-scrolling arcade game built from the ground up by Bitmap Bureau, the team behind Xenocrisis, and it's a love letter to the T2 movie done in gorgeous pixel art. You play as Sarah Connor, the T-800, and John Connor across a bunch of missions that recreate iconic scenes from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. The gameplay shifts constantly. One moment you're a barefoot Sarah busting out of a mental hospital with a nightstick and picking locks. Then you're blasting through Cyberdyne with a shotgun. Then you're in an aqueduct chase. It keeps you on your toes. There's a no fate mechanic that unlocks alternate paths and different choices on repeat playthroughs, so there's actual replay value built in. Story mode, arcade mode, boss rush, and infinite mode are all included. It's short, but every scene feels handcrafted. Shadow of the Ninja Reborn. The original Shadow of the Ninja came out in 1990, and this remake just dropped in 2024. You're set in a dystopian, cyberpunk version of the United States in 2029, and two ninjas, Hayate and Kaede, are sent on a mission to take down the tyrant Emperor Garuda. You slash through 5 completely rebuilt stages, plus a brand new 6th one with your katana and a Kusarigama chain weapon, both upgradable through power-ups. New movement options like a floating hover jump and dash have been added on top of the NES foundations. The co-op is still here, and it's a blast, letting both players work through the levels without hurting each other. The art is easily some of the best pixel work you'll see on the Switch. It's challenging in a real old-school way, and the remixed soundtrack from original composer Iku Mizutani absolutely slaps. Sega Mega Drive Classics packs over 50 games from Sega's 16-bit era. We're talking Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Altered Beast, Shinobi 3, Gunstar Heroes, Comix Zone, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, Phantasy Star, Columns, Vector Man, and so many more. The range of genres is wild. Beat-em-ups, shooters, RPGs, action platformers, puzzle games, sports titles. Every game includes save states, rewind, and online multiplayer for select titles. There's also a neat virtual bedroom menu that looks like a kid's room from the early 90s, complete with a shelf of cartridges to browse. Some of the games aged better than others, but the heavy hitters still feel fantastic. Streets of Rage 2 alone is one of the greatest beat-em-ups ever made. Getting this much content in a single package is insane value. Whether you want to revisit nostalgia or dig into Sega's library for the first time, this is the collection to have. Ninja 5-0, also known as Ninja Cop in Europe, was originally a GBA game from 2003 by Hudson Soft. It barely sold, got incredible reviews, became nearly impossible to find, and then Limited Run Games brought it back. You play as Joe Osugi, a ninja cop tasked with taking down the Mad Mask Syndicate that's been grabbing hostages all over the city. Each of the 6 missions has 3 stages and a boss, and you've got a sword, shuriken-style projectiles, and a grappling hook. The hook is the real highlight. Swinging through levels with it feels surprisingly fluid. You also need to collect keys to unlock doors, hunt down hostages, and avoid shooting civilians. It plays like a mashup of Ninja Gaiden, Shinobi, and Bionic Commando. A rewind feature has been added for the Switch version, which is very welcome given the tricky controls. It's short, it's tight, and it's finally affordable and accessible. Wild Guns Reloaded. Originally released on SNES back in 1994, this Natsume classic is a gallery-style shooter set in a Wild West that somehow also has giant mechs and robots. You're not running around. You're locked in the foreground, shooting at enemies on a fixed screen that scrolls horizontally, dodging bullets while picking off everything from cowboys to iron golems. It's a mix of a shooting gallery and a shmup. The Switch version is the Reloaded remake, which adds 2 brand new playable characters on top of the original 2, bringing the total to 4. You can play solo or grab up to 4 players locally, which gets completely chaotic and brilliant. The action is fast, the screens get absolutely packed with enemies and bullets, and learning enemy patterns is genuinely satisfying. It's the kind of game you pick up for 5 minutes and then look up an hour later. Sega Ages Out Run. Released by Sega in 1986, it basically defined the cool driving game genre. Sega Ages Out Run on Switch is M2's incredibly faithful port of the arcade classic, and M2 are the masters at this stuff. You're driving a Ferrari Testarossa convertible across branching routes through palm-lined beaches, deserts, alpine roads, and cities. The goal isn't to race other cars, it's to drive as far as you can through the branching stages before the timer hits 0. You pick your route at each split, choose from 5 different radio tracks, including the iconic Magical Sound Shower, and just cruise. The M2 version adds an original mode, a range mode, outrun mode, and a mirror mode, plus online leaderboards and traffic density options. The gorgeous scaling sprite tech still looks impressive for a game this old, and the driving feel with its power slides and gear shifts holds up beautifully. Mr. Driller DrillLand. You play as Susumu Hori, drilling down through colorful blocks underground while managing your air supply. If you run out of air, you lose. The main mechanic is about drilling through same-colored blocks that connect and disappear, but you have to be careful not to get crushed by falling ones. DrillLand is the enhanced version, with 5 totally different game modes set in a theme park, each one adding its own twist on the core drilling mechanic. One mode has you riding animals, another puts you in a haunted house, another goes sci-fi. It's surprisingly deep and gets really intense at higher depths. The art style is bright, colorful, and charming, and the music is absolutely banging. The Switch version got an HD upgrade and added online leaderboards for the first time. Raiden 4X Mikado Remix is the most complete version of Raiden 4 ever released. You're piloting the famous Red Fighter through 8 stages of intense vertical scrolling combat, collecting weapon power-ups your main guns can switch between, Vulcan bullets, lasers, and plasma shots, while smart bombs clear the screen when things get too hectic. The Mikado remix part refers to a brand new soundtrack, put together with legendary composers from Japan's Game Center Mikado, which is an absolute treat for your ears. Beyond the original arcade game, you also get an additional mode with 2 new stages, the Overkill scoring system, Boss Rush mode, Score Attack, and an incredibly novel double mode, where you control 2 ships at once with 1 controller. Tate mode is fully supported on Switch, so you can flip the console vertical for that proper arcade experience. After years of waiting, Contra is finally back in the right form. WayForward, the team behind Contra 4 for the DS, developed Operation Galuga as a proper reimagining of the original arcade classic. Bill Reiser and Lance Bean are back and sent to the Galuga archipelago to investigate a terrorist group messing with strange gravity waves after a meteor shower. Classic Contra stuff. The game runs through 8 stages of explosive 2.5D run-and-gun action, where you're constantly moving, jumping, shooting, and doing aerial flips to dodge bullets. New mechanics include a dash move, weapon stacking, where you carry and toggle between 2 weapons, and a perk upgrade system that lets you customize your character before each run. Multiple playable characters, including new faces like Ariana and Lucia, each play differently with unique special moves. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is a side-scrolling beat-em-up from Tribute Games and Dotemu, and it's spectacular. Annihilus, the living death that walks, has launched an invasion across the galaxy, possessing heroes and villains to fight for him, and it's up to a team of 15 playable Marvel heroes to stop him. The roster goes from street-level fighters like Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Captain America, all the way to cosmic characters like Nova, Beta Ray Bill, Phyla-Vell, and Silver Surfer. The Cosmic Swap tag team system is the key mechanic. You pick 2 heroes per level and switch between them on the fly, calling in your partner for devastating tag combos. Each character feels completely unique. She-Hulk throws people like a wrestler, Phoenix tosses enemies with telekinesis, Storm can fly over aerial threats. Up to 4 players can jump in, locally or online.
Photon Blast!
Gradius Origins includes the first 3 Gradius arcade games across multiple regional versions and board revisions, totaling 18 ROMs, plus Salamander 1 and 2, and the brand new Salamander 3, created exclusively for this collection. If you've never played Gradius, you fly a spacecraft horizontally through stages, collecting power-up capsules and spending them on a menu of upgrades. Speed boosts, missiles, double shots, laser beams, force fields, and option pods that mirror your shots. The series is famous for Gradius Syndrome, when you die and respawn with no power-ups in the middle of a brutal section. The Origins collection adds rewind, save states, invincible mode, and training modes to help with that. Salamander 3 is a full, brand new entry in the Salamander spin-off series, and is itself a major reason to buy this collection. A must for shmup fans on Switch. SNK's 40th anniversary. You're getting 25 games spanning SNK's entire pre-Neo Geo era from 1981 to 1990. Ikari Warriors and its 2 sequels, Guerrilla War, POW, Athena, Psycho Soldier, Alpha Mission, Prehistoric Isle, Crystallis, Vanguard, TNK3, and more, all in both their arcade and NES versions where available. The variety of genres is impressive. Twin-stick shooters, action RPGs, shoot-em-ups, beat-em-ups, and arcade platformers. The presentation is incredible, with a museum full of concept art, advertising flyers, design documents, and a tool-assisted playthrough feature for every game you can jump into mid-run. Save states, rewind, online leaderboards, and CRT filters are all included. Crystallis, the beloved NES action RPG, making its first official re-release since 1990, is worth the price alone. Cotton Reboot. You play as Cotton, a young witch obsessed with willow candies, who flies on her broomstick through horizontal stages, blasting fairies, dragons, and all manner of fantasy creatures. The mechanics revolve around your shot power. You hold down the fire button to charge your magic attack, then release to fire based on its charge level, from weak rapid fire all the way up to screen-clearing thunder magic. Collecting crystals from downed enemies powers up your magic and gives you the powerful Cheer Shot Bomb. The game comes with the original TurboGrafx 16 version and a fully rearranged Reboot version with updated visuals and a remixed soundtrack. Both are fantastic and play differently enough to double your enjoyment. The fantasy art style is adorable, the music is catchy, the difficulty is real, and the whole experience has this over-the-top Japanese arcade charm that just makes you smile. Capcom Fighting Collection. You get Darkstalkers, Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, Vampire Savior, Vampire Hunter 2, Vampire Savior 2, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Gem Fighter Mini-Mix, Hyper Street Fighter 2, and Red Earth, a legendary arcade fighter that had basically never been on home consoles before. Every game comes with online multiplayer using rollback netcode, training modes, full move lists, music players, digital art galleries, and options to switch between Japanese and US regional versions. Darkstalkers is the big draw here. It's Capcom's 2D fighting game series set in a world of classic monsters, doing battle with incredibly fluid animations and mechanics that were ahead of their time. Red Earth alone is a massive deal. Since it's a single-player focused fighting game with RPG elements, almost nobody has been able to play legitimately for decades. Kaze and the Wild Masks. You play as Kaze, a rabbit-like hero on the Crystal Islands whose friend Hogo gets caught up in a curse that's turning all the vegetation into angry, hostile enemies. The gameplay is directly in the spirit of Donkey Kong Country. You run, jump, roll, and power slide through beautifully crafted 2D stages, collecting gems and hidden letters. What makes Kaze stand out is the Wild Masks system. Scattered through stages are 4 animal masks: tiger, eagle, lizard, and shark, each transforming Kaze and changing how you play. The eagle lets you fly and shoot from above. The shark dominates underwater sections. The tiger wall climbs and dashes, and the lizard powers auto-scroll vehicle sections. There are over 30 main levels plus 50 plus bonus stages, and the difficulty scales up nicely. Double Dragon Gaiden. Set in a post-apocalyptic New York in 1999, brothers Billy and Jimmy Lee, along with new characters Marion and Uncle Mayton, fight through gang-controlled districts to bring order back to the city. You pick 2 characters at the start, each with their own moveset and special abilities. Billy is your all-rounder with knees to the face. Marion is a gun user with great range. Jimmy is fast and combo-heavy, and Uncle Mayton is a slow powerhouse who can shield against bullets. The tag mechanic lets you switch between your duo using your super gauge, keeping your hurt character safe while the other fights. You choose your missions on a map, and the order you tackle them changes how difficult later ones get. More enemies can be added for extra lives. The combat is solid, if a bit light on impact. The music remixes classic Double Dragon tracks brilliantly, and the replay value from unlocking 9 more characters is high. Ninja Gaiden is back in 2D, and it's made by the team behind Blasphemous, the game kitchen. That combination should tell you everything you need to know about what kind of experience you're in for. Ragebound takes place during the events of the original 1988 NES Ninja Gaiden, while Ryu Hayabusa is away in America. Back in Japan, the Hayabusa village is attacked by demons, and a young ninja named Kenji Mozu steps up to defend it. Along the way, he gets magically bound to Komori, a kunoichi from the rival Black Spider clan. You switch between both characters during certain stages, with Kenji using a sword for close combat and the guillotine boost, a mid-air attack that bounces you off enemies like a double jump, and Komori using kunai for ranged hits. The level design is tight, the boss fights are fantastic, and the pixel art is absolutely stunning. "13 classic Konami TMNT games in one collection. And that's not padding, because nearly every single one of them is worth playing. You get the original NES game, TMNT 2, the arcade game, TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project, Turtles in Time on SNES, Tournament Fighters on SNES, Genesis, and NES, plus the original arcade Turtles in Time, Fall of the Foot Clan, and its sequels on Game Boy, and more. The crown jewel is obviously TMNT 4, Turtles in Time, still one of the greatest beat-em-ups ever made, period. You're picking Leo, Raph, Donnie, or Mikey and smashing foot soldiers across time, from the prehistoric era to the far future, throwing foot soldiers at the screen and wrestling with Bebop and Rocksteady. Everything is here. Online multiplayer, local co-op, save states, rewind, Japanese versions of every game, button remapping, digital art galleries, and a mountain of historic TMNT media content. "20 of the best arcade experiences the Switch has to offer. Every single one of them is worth picking up. Drop a comment and let me know which one's your favorite, or which ones I missed. Hit like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.